already sick and tired of Sprite and tier elements dominating the format even though it's not already here yet?
Do you want to play a deck that doesn't immediately lose to Dark Ruler no more and can actually still be competitively viable?
Well, this one tries hard
And scares harder, baby. Hi, team! Happy Tuesday, my terrifying Tri-Brigades. Today we are bringing you the brand new official post Scare Brigade. Whatever you want to call the rendition of Tri-Brigade and Scareclaw, because guess what? It's really good now, and we're going to show you why it's so darn good.
A while back, everyone had asked for a Tri-Brigade Scareclaw list, but now with the brand new Link 1, this deck is not only viable, but also very, very strong. This version of the deck not only allows additional beast monsters that you can play, but also allows you to pivot between strategies to give you a better, more intensive mid-game.
And the best part about this deck is, unlike every other deck this upcoming format, it doesn't die to Dark Ruler no more, and it ends on boards that you honestly wouldn't believe Tri-Brigade could end on. And don't worry, we're going to show you a full combo tutorial and test hand at the end of the video, so please stick around after the profile. With all that being said, we are super excited about this deck in the 88th rendition of Tri-Brigade, except this one's totally different. There's a lot of new cards. But before we get into the deck profile, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, join the sub squad, hit the notification bell, like the video, and comment your favorite beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster, because boy oh boy, this deck is chock full of them. With all that being said, let's get into the updated profile, because there ain't no laws when you're playing claws, baby.
Obviously, we are playing 3 copies of Rescue Cat, your standard triple Fractal, triple Nervall, triple copies of Kit, the double copies of Scariest, and then the 1 copy of Revolt.
Wow, the Tri-Brigade ratios literally have not changed since the dawn of time itself. With all that being said, if you need to know what these cards do, go to any of the 78 other deck profiles. We are literally moving on. There's better cards in this deck. Let's go.
We are playing 3 copies of our DD Crow. This is one of the best hand traps moving into the next format, which even though it is searchable in this deck is why we are choosing to max out on it.
You're gonna put in work this format, little burb.
Speaking of putting in work, obviously Ash, just one of the most generic hand traps of all time, so we are obviously maxing out.
Forehead, not feet.
Double copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This was at 3, but we did choose it to cut down to 2 because this deck is at 41.
It's just, you know, still kind of nice.
Ogre's really strong because it clears cards, doesn't negate them. However, you know it does do that. Triple copies of Gamma and the amazing Brick in the deck, Driver.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's not a brick. He is the most important card in this deck. Do not sleep on Driver. Tribute summon Driver. Attack for game with Driver. Thank you.
Speaking of important cards, we're on triple copies of Droplet and the 1 copy of Call by the Grave. Just keep in mind that these hand trap ratios are subject to change. I do think going into the new Pope format, though, these are just the best hand traps. DD Crow is an absolute blowout right now, and Gamma is probably the strongest hand trap ever printed. These cards help stop Splight. They also help stop the tier limit deck, and they also help your engine as well.
And the nice part about this deck is you can play
5,000 of them.
And for all of our budget players out there, if you wanted to play something like Dark Ruler over Droplets, we actually may make that change in the future, but once we start playing the format, we will actually find out what the change needs to be.
That's the beauty of testing, team. Decks can change.
And then moving off to the highly anticipated Scareclaw engine, we are on 2 copies of our Visas Starfrost, double copies of our Scareclaw Astra,
He's a mad puppy.
the 1 copy of our Scareclaw Balone,
Baloney! My doggy has a first name. It's B-L-O-N-E, Baloney. Baloney best boy. Who's with me in the comments?
our 1 copy of our Scareclaw Reichheart. Reichheart is the best starter card in the Scareclaw deck. However, keep in mind that we are not actually playing Scareclaw. We are playing Tri-Brigade with a Scareclaw engine,
Yes.
which is why we only opted to play 1 because this card can search our 1 copy of Scareclaw Arrival. And then 3 copies of our field spell, aka Primitive Planet Reichphobia.
Say that 5 times fast. I bet you can't. Primitive Planet Reichphobia. Primitive Planet Reichphobia. Primitive Planet Reichphobia. Primitive Planet Reichphobia. Dang it! We are opting to play 3 of the field spell in this deck, even though it is searchable, you don't technically need to, but I feel like maxing out on this is just better because it becomes any of the other names in the deck for the Scareclaws and the Visas Starfrost, so it just becomes like its own 1 card starter and extender in itself. So why not just play it, because if you don't have anything else to do, that'll get you there.
Free cards are free cards.
Combo.
This is a very concise engine, but our Visas Starfrost is a free extender because if it's in your hand, you can pop any other card on the field that has a different type and attribute than himself, which, spoiler, is every card in the deck, and then special summon himself. This can help you trigger things like your Nervall and or your Kit to put them in the graveyard while getting a free body and an additional resource. And then all of the Scareclaw monsters have the ability where you can special summon themselves from the hand to an adjacent column of a Scareclaw monster. We chose to play double copies of the Astra because this gives an additional attack to all of your Scareclaw monsters in the extra monster zone. Baloney allows you to do piercing battle damage.
It's Balone. I'm sorry. We're not saying this unironically, I promise.
I'm never saying balone. This is always baloney to me.
Barone the floor, Baloney the dog, tomato.
A Reichheart on normal or special summon allows you to search your copy of your Scareclaw Arrival. This is literally just your monster reborn in the deck.
Comment down below if you're part of the Reichheart Supremacy Gang. I am. He's very handsome. Okay.
And then the field spell on activation allows you to search any one of these beautiful cards, so they are all free extenders.
This also banishes from graveyard to protect a link monster that is a Scareclaw that will be destroyed by battle or card effects, so just keep that in mind too.
And then even going second, this has a really relevant effect because if you have 3 monsters that are in defense position, you could target a card your opponent controls and then destroy it. So it helps you clear boards along with being an engine piece as well.
Also, I just noticed that our right chart has like his name's like kind of shifted. It's kind of nice though.
I love misprints, you know.
Oh, we love right chart. And that was the scary new main deck, but let's segue on into the extra deck, which has an adorable new Link one that we're playing 2 copies of. That is unfortunately much cuter than Almirage and does way more than Almirage could ever do. So sorry Almirage, got the boot, but we got double copies of Scareclaw Lightheart. What a cutie.
It is good to know that this card says this card can only be link summoned with monsters in the main monster zone. Keep in mind your Tri-Brigade monsters do not link summon. They special summon from the extra deck. That is why this card is so good. It is our first free Beast Warrior that is a link 1, and on summon it searches your field spell. It also has the ability where if you control your Visa Starfrost, once per duel you can special summon this card from your graveyard for free.
And in this deck, that'll net you a whole lot of advantage. Also, he is absolutely adorable. Have you looked at this tiny little man? Don't worry, I'm gonna pick him up at the end of the extract and show you because he is so freaking cute.
He's like a little anime character.
Oh, sorry, Almirage, you've been demoted.
Double copies of Farajit, the 1 copy of our Bear Broom, 1 copy of Double Dragon Lords, the 1 copy of Rugal, and then our 1 Harris Velger. I think this is a key card in the Tri-Brigade strategy that actually isn't really optional anymore. This does obviously help get into your access code. However, keep in mind that this can actually be part of your end board. As we said earlier, DD Crow is probably one of the strongest hand traps moving into the next format. This is a free DD Crow.
He's a big DD Crow.
You can literally just start your board with this going into your opponent's turn and get one of the resources out of the graveyard. This card's crazy.
He's DD Bro now. Splay who? Harris Velger says hi.
Splay Blue.
Oh, scary. And then moving on to the new guy, we're playing Scareclaw Tryhard. We were on the fence about playing this guy, but it turns out he's really good, especially in the late game. He must be link summoned, so you cannot use any of the try effects to summon him out. All face-up monsters on the field are changed to defense position, and he is unaffected by the activated effects of defense position monsters. That's pretty cool.
And the reason that's really strong is because moving into the next format, a lot of decks are going to be fusion-based or Xyz-based, and this is really outable with link monsters, but there's not going to be a ton of decks out there playing a link-heavy strategy in the early game.
And then once per turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone, spoiler, it usually is, you can target a level 3 Scareclaw monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, add a Scareclaw monster from your deck to your hand, and you cannot special summon monsters the rest of the turn except Scareclaws. That is the only card that locks you in this deck, which is why this is kind of your grind game card. This is also a really quick kill button because it basically searches one, they all spam each other out, go into defense position, he gets really big, and then if you also have the field spell, makes things really big, and then Baloney lets you inflict piercing, so he just gets really big and basically kills your opponent.
And then Astra allows you to attack multiple times. Pog.
That's kind of the whole shtick of this engine. It's to get everything out in defense mode, build a little wall, get this guy out, and then beep beep, death.
Speaking of death, when this guy hits the board, it's kind of the end of the game. We are playing double copies of our Charade.
You're still my favorite, baby. I love you.
And speaking of actual death, we're just playing access code. I mean,
oh yeah, he also
code.
just kills you.
Appaloosa, this is one of your main engine pieces to end on, even though it's not a Tri-Brigade card. This basically should have just said like Tri-Brigade Appaloosa.
Ah yes, Bow of the Beast.
Bow of the Beast.
I just got Bear.
There it is. That's a beast. All right, you know it's not a beast? This guy, Borlode Savage Dragon, and the 1 copy of Baron de Fleur.
Baloney's cousin. Oh my god, this deck is playing 2 of the most powerful synchro monsters in the game right now. That's pretty crazy, right? We weren't doing this before. Why? Because Visa Starfrost is a level 6 tuner. And with that fun little tidbit of information, we can now go into synchro plays, which is really great because this deck kind of needs things like Omni Negates, and that's pretty helpful in this format, so yay! So that was the extra deck, but with all that being said, you're probably wondering how in the hell you play this deck now, because it's very different. There's a lot of brand new cards, but don't worry, we're going to do a test hand and a full combo and show you right now. Alright team, welcome to the test hand and combo tutorial section. This is where we do a 5-card test hand and show you exactly what the deck can do with any 5 cards in the deck. This has a very different engine now and a lot of different routes, so we're going to really have to step by step with this, so make sure you're paying attention. Also, if you like this mat, you can go grab it from Pyramid Gaming right now with our code. I'll plop it on the screen because it's too hard to say. And with that being said, I'm going to put our adorable field center down of me and Brian from Nats. Look at those cute people. We're going to shuffle on up, cut, and see what we can do.
Alright, with that being said, I will say just a little disclaimer. This deck has a lot of lines. This is not one of those like super standard 1-card combo decks like Logan said. I do think I would advise sitting down and playing and doing hands with this deck for a little while before you take this to an event. Whether it's your locals, whether it's a premier event, whatever, this deck is extremely strong and extremely complicated. So with that little disclaimer, a few one of these and boop.
Yeah, it's really nice now because now it's not so linear as it used to be. You can actually have a little fun with what you're doing.
We're going to start off with a kit. 1 copy of Ash, 1 Droplet, one
cat.
rescue cat, and
Yo,
wow,
let's
the
go.
Visa Starfrost. Alright, so this is exactly what the deck wants to do. Obviously, we have like a 1-card starter.
You basically have
which
2
we do.
hand
Yeah,
traps.
this is crazy.
So good.
So we're gonna start off here with a normal summoning rescue cat. We're gonna activate the cat effect. This is gonna grab our copy of Kit and the 1 copy of Astra.
Man, that Scariest is looking a little weird.
A little weird. Speaking of Astra, we're gonna link summon Astra here.
Into our sweet baby boy Lightheart. My God, I just
Lightheart's gonna trigger. This is gonna search our field spell. Now we can activate the field spell. This is typically where you want to search the Visa Starfrost. We did open it, so we can just search any other extender here if we'd like.
Our baloney. Balone. It's balone.
Now we can special summon the baloney adjacent to our copy of Lightheart, and then as I said before, we do have the Visa Starfrost. Typically you would search the Visa Starfrost off of your field spell, but we opened it, so we're going to activate the Visa Starfrost. We're going to destroy our copy of Lightheart, and then Lightheart, once per dual effect, actually really strong here. We're going to just special summon it back because we control Visa Starfrost. Now here we're going to link summon
Into our best girl Farajit.
and that's going to trigger our Kit. Kit's going to dump our Nervall, and then Nervall's going to activate. Nervall's going to search our copy of Fractal.
Old faithful.
Now we're going to activate our Farajit's effect. We're going to special summon said Fractal. We have a ton of resources in our graveyard already. We're going to activate the Fractal. We're going to banish 2.
For beep beep, Bear Broom.
Now here, we're going to take our Fractal and our level 6 tuner monster.
And to get on up, get on the floor, everybody look, it's a Baron on the floor. That's kind of nice in this deck. It feels kind of good. It feels kind of crazy.
Now if you want, you can activate our copy of Bear Broom here to just pitch 2 cards and special summon back any of our monsters that are banished. You do lose 2 cards, so do keep that in mind. Or you can just make your 3 material Appaloosa here, but just for demonstration sakes, we're going to activate this effect. We're going to pitch 2 cards, and we are going to summon back our copy of Kit. Now we can activate the Kit's effect, banishing 2 additional monsters.
To summon, dang, it's a double Dragon Lords.
Now it is good to note you didn't have to summon the baloney here, but I do think that a 4 material Appaloosa is way better than a 3 material Appaloosa. This is a beast monster, so you can use it for link material. If you'd like, you can keep it in hand, but we are going to link for 4 here.
Into a damn she-thick 4-mat appetizer. Goodness me, baloney appetizers, bears on the floor. There's so much happening in this deck, and it feels nice.
And we do have the ability to trigger our copy of Farajit here. Once again, remember that if we did choose to keep our Scareclaw in hand, this effect would be a little bit more relevant. We get to draw 1, put 1 back, but there's no real need to do that. So here we are just going to trigger our copy of Bear Broom. This is going to search Revolt, and then we're going to place that Ash on the bottom of the deck, and then here is our end board. I know it looks a little wild because we don't have any cards in our hand. However, we have a 4 material Appaloosa, we have a Bounce with DDL, we have a Negate with Baron, we have Revolt, which is going to get us a starter for next turn, and that Interruption to banish any card on our opponent's field, non-targeting, and ensure that we have game for our Crackback.
Yeah, there's something about being able to end on a 4-mat app, a quick effect bounce, and then a Omni Negate and a big charade go burr. That just feels kind of nice this format. And you know what? With all the shenanigans people are going to be doing, this is going to be really great. And this deck doesn't lose to Dark Ruler because you have the charade through Revolt, which allows you to just extend through whatever interruption they have. So you know what? If you can't beat them, scare them. And that's it. That's the deck. It's absolutely killer, isn't it? Let us know in the comment section if you think this deck is absolutely whack. We love it. You love it. We all love it. With that being said, we have a lot of deck profiles we will be updating for this format because this format has a lot of variety and a lot of support that you probably didn't expect. But you know what? We got it for you, so don't worry. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. We'll see you guys in all these fun videos over here in future deck profiles because boy, oh boy, we got a lot coming out this week and a photo opening. Bye!
See ya!